Hello, everyone. I am Emma Baltazar, founder and director of One Christian Network, and I'm here with Rebecca McSwain. She is the McKinney-Vento liaison for New Hanover County Schools, and she's going to be sharing with you about what she does and how churches and the community can support schools right now. So welcome, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us about what you do for our school system.
So I'm the McKinney-Vento liaison for the county, and the McKinney-Vento Act is a federal law that protects families and students that are experiencing housing instability. I'm also known as a homeless liaison, and just try to help families navigate the school system and get students enrolled and trying to meet their needs as best we can.
Awesome. So tell us about, well, prior to COVID hitting, what kind of issues were you seeing with families and about how many families are affected, even still from Florence?
Well, currently, there on our McKinney-Vento list, there are 500 students that are eligible for McKinney-Vento services. We've already identified 74 families since school has started this year. Unfortunately, some of our families on the list became eligible during Florence, and they have remained eligible during Florence because they have not been able to secure affordable, stable housing at this time. I would say we probably have approximately 75 families that are on there that were still affected by Florence.
Are some of those families like doubled up with other families and that kind of thing?
The majority of our students that are on the list are, I would say 90% of our families are doubled up with another family because they cannot find housing. We do have students that are residing in shelters, residing in hotels. Very seldom do we have cars, but at times we've had that as well. But we definitely try to refer them to a service in Wilmington to get them in some type of housing.
Yeah, so I can't only imagine being doubled up, crowded in the space, and then having to do digital learning as well. So what kind of challenges are you seeing currently with families?
Yes, that is very challenging. So currently, I would say the families that I work with, I also work with over 30 school social workers that service our schools here in New Hanover County within New Hanover County Schools, and they do a great job case managing. And so they have reached out to all of these students to make sure that if they needed a device, we obtained one for them. We've also secured Wi-Fi for families that needed that to be able to log on. We've done numerous home visits to show families how to use the devices. It's challenging, and it is challenging when families have to work. So we've had to locate some alternative childcare for them. We've had to hook them up with resources regarding food, and it's been a lot, but we've been trying to really case manage families. I'm amazed at the resiliency that has been shown by the families with all the obstacles they're going through. They are making this work.
Right. So one of the outcomes I'm hoping to see, from this interview is that more people just be aware of the issues, but also want to kind of engage and realize that the door is open to partner. So what are some ways that you've seen churches, individuals, or businesses support schools, even before COVID or even after COVID?
Churches and businesses are wonderful to partner with for schools. I've seen businesses reach out to provide shoes for students, to help sometimes even with housing. I've seen churches reach out to schools and embrace the faculty and provide support for them. And I've also seen um, schools provide snacks for kids. Lots of times teachers will be the ones to purchase school snacks for the kids that maybe didn't have one that day. And when I was a school social worker, I would partner with the church and they would bring us snacks every month. They'd bring us Clorox wipes, just things that you don't think of that are easily used up. And most of the time, teachers are reaching into their own pockets to pay for that. So it is so nice when someone else steps in and says, hey, we want to help you. We want to help kids. I've seen churches volunteer and inside the schools. I know with COVID, that may not happen in the near future, but I've seen some great collaborations with volunteers and helping kids with reading and math and volunteering for field trips and stepping up. Maybe a school doesn't have a huge PTA and a church or a business has partnered with them. It's great. Social
Yeah.
workers, counselors, everyone is so appreciative of their help.
Right. So it sounds like the possibilities for partnering are kind of unlimited and can be creative. I know that I have watched a film about how one church completely turned a school around by just showing up and being present and developing relationships with the school staff so that they know how to support. It took a school that was actually almost deserted to one of the most sought after schools just by having that support. So I know it's so important. I know as a former teacher myself, how nice it was to, just have that boost of morale. I know that right now teachers, it's hard. It's a challenge because they are having to work double time to transfer all the lessons digitally and respond to each one individually, but also not being able to really get to know their students in the way that they like. It's, my heart goes out to them. So any way that, if you're watching this video or if you're an individual church business, would like to reach out and be a part of the solution, be a part of making a difference, because every single student represents a family in our community. And so when you're helping the schools, you're helping the whole family. So how can they do that? How can they reach out? Should they reach out to you, or should they go to individual schools, or what is the best way to partner?
I think either way is appropriate. I know when I was a school social worker, I had churches that were my neighbors reach out and say, hey, how can we help? And that was awesome. We sat down, we looked at our needs, we talked about the ways they could support us. So I do think if they have a school in mind, just reaching out, and if that school already has enough support, maybe they can let them know of another school. They can always call me. I work out of the admin building here with New Hanover County Schools, and I communicate with all the social workers weekly. So I kind of, could point them in the right direction regarding a school that may be looking for that.
Awesome. So what is your best email if people want to reach out to you?
My email is Rebecca, Rebecca, .McSwain, MCSWAIN, @NHCS.net.
Awesome, Rebecca. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. I know it's a challenge for so many, but you guys are doing a great job, and I hope that this video will mobilize people to want to support schools even more. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.